This is the brand new 14 to 28mm f4 to f5.6 ultra wide angle lens for full frame Lumix L mount with some macro capabilities. This lens was announced alongside the Lumix S5 Mark II, but I feel like the hype around that camera has overshadowed this lens a little bit, and I do think it's worth shouting about because it's a fabulous lens. Who is this lens for? Well, I think first and foremost it's for the content creator. You can get talking to camera bits very well with this lens. With the macro capabilities, which I'll go into a little bit later, you can get great product shots. I also think it would be great for street photography, architecture, landscape, all kinds of things like real estate where you need to show off the interior of a building really, really well. This lens does all of that brilliantly with its 14mm at the wide end. And this lens is ultra wide. If you've not had a lens this wide before, this demonstration may give you a little bit of a clue. It's ridiculous. You can fit in so much. To take a picture of something, you need to get really, really close to the subject to get all of it in without there being loads of negative space in the foreground. It's a really fun focal length to play with.
Even two people, I would say, would squeeze easily 4 people in here, or 5, with a 14.
You could get all of the Spice Girls in this
Oh,
shot.
all the Spice Girls, 100%.
But then at the long end, it is quite usable. 28mm is great. It's still on the wide end, but it's not ultra wide. So the versatility of this lens, I think, is really, really good. And I think you may want to gravitate towards this more than, say, the 18mm f1.8 prime, because the 18mm does one thing very, very well, and it's great. But when you're out and about, sometimes you need a little bit more zoom. And having the versatility, I think, is always very important. Now, at f4 at the wide end, it isn't exactly a low light beast. But when you pair it to the S5 or the S5 Mark II, they are superb in low light with the ISO capabilities. So it is definitely usable in lower light situations. However, if you are routinely shooting in low light, there may be some better alternatives for you. For instance, there is a Sigma 16 to 28, which is f2.8 constant. It isn't quite as wide, only going to 16 rather than 14, but you do get the f2.8. And then you do have the primes as well, as I've said. I think the Sigma lens needs to be in this conversation because with the PDAF on the S5 Mark II, there is no autofocus benefit really between choosing Lumix or Sigma. And having the 2.8 constant at the payoff of being slightly less wide might be the solution for some people. For me, I think I would still choose the Lumix because the 14mm is spectacularly wide, really ridiculous, and that appeals to me more than the f2.8. But your thoughts might be entirely reversed. So the macro capabilities. Now, it isn't a true macro lens, but you can get ridiculously close to your subject. You can get it so it's almost touching the front element of your glass and still be in focus.
That is as close as I can get without the lens hood getting in the way. That's really close, minimal focus distance, bloody hell.
This is great for your product shots and things like that, but you can also use this effect really creatively for photography. Because you can get something really close to you in the foreground in pin sharp focus, but because you're shooting at wide angle, you can show off the rest of the scene behind it. You don't get so much sort of compression as you would with a more standard focal length. So you can use it creatively for photography as well as macro. I'm very happy to say that this lens is fully internal focusing, and in terms of balancing on a gimbal, because nothing goes out too far, you should be able to balance your gimbal in the middle point of the lens and then use the full focal range without rebalancing in a pinch. Or very minimal rebalancing at the very least. For gimbal work, this is a great option because of the internal focusing and the balance. For video, on the Lumix stabilization side, I think the video, if you're moving in the scene, is pretty damn good. Most ultra wide angles do get a little bit of a wobble in the corners, and I don't think this is any different, but I do think it's quite minimal. Just bear this in mind if you are trying to emulate gimbal shots rather than using a gimbal, because you might want to sort of zoom in ever so slightly to make the jello a little bit less prominent. In terms of faking gimbal shots that aren't walking forwards, I think this lens is brilliant. You can do loads with it, and the wide angle is really, really forgiving. Jello for the vlogging parts, I think, is quite minimal and a lot better than I was expecting at this focal length. I think you notice it a lot less when someone's talking to you. You know, you don't want to be concentrating on the sides of the frame if someone's talking to you. But if you're in a static scene, you are more drawn to any jello in the corners. I hope that makes sense.
I want to try it for vlogging.
Are you going to film some stuff with it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because it's super wide for vlogging, isn't it? Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, is it going to wobble the corners?
I think it will. I think it will. Oh, nope.
Oh, that's the wrong button.
That's the wrong button. I'm going to walk and vlog. Hi, Bob.
Am I in it?
You're well
Wow.
in, yeah. Look, I've got like everything in.
Oh God, wow.
It's ridiculous. But let's see for Jello. You'll be the Jello subject because you're in
I'm
the
a jealous
corner.
subject. I can move.
Looks pretty stable on the screen. And I like that you can like sideways vlog and chat with someone.
Yeah, but problem with a wide angle lens like this is, hang on, I'm gonna film this. The problem with such a wide angle and vlogging with it is if you get anything in the corners, you gotta get all the distortion. I'm filming with 16 now.
Yeah.
And if I'm close to the edge, my head's gonna be huge. So kind of if you're vlogging, you have to make sure that people are in the middle of the frame. Otherwise,
Yeah.
if this is 14, it's gonna be even worse.
That's true.
Much worse.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. It just,
Whoa. Holy distortion back
yeah,
there.
your hand as well. Your arm's gonna look very, very long on this.
How long my arm is. One benefit of vlogging on it is you can actually hold it on the lens and it not get in the way. Whereas with the 18, I kind of have to.
Yeah, it's smaller.
Yeah. Or I could just be a better content creator and buy one of those.
Those sticky things.
Those sticky things.
Don't show this camera here.
Not the Sony. Not the Sony.
This lens is a beaut. I think between the 20 to 60mm and this lens, and maybe one prime of choice, you have a full comprehensive kit to run a business, be a content creator, whatever you fancy doing. For me personally, I think this lens is an instant buy, because when I am out and about talking to camera, I do need something that little bit wider. And if I'm filming myself, you know, filming myself walking through the scene or whatever it is content creators do, you want to have a little bit of a wider scene so that you can see what's going on around you, and the focus will be a little bit more forgiving. It can track you a little bit better. Generally speaking, for content creation, the wide angle lens is super duper handy. Let's talk about price. It retails at around $699, which is a little bit pricey, but it is a full frame lens and a damn good one at that. I mean, even the Lumix Pro f4 constant 16 to 35 is 1,500 quid. So you get a wider focal length with this, and it's cheaper. In the context of the rest of the lenses that are available, I think it is cheap, but it is not cheap by most people's standards, if that makes sense. So this is a sharp, versatile, fun lens that fits straight into your Lumix full frame lineup. The price is quite competitive, and I think it is a delight to use. I honestly think this will be the first lens that people buy after the Nifty 50 or the strap lens. I think it's that good and that integral to most people's setups. Watch this video next where I go through the full Lumix full frame 1.8 prime setup, and you can see which one might be best for you. I think this is a camera. I think it's a camera. I think it's a camera. Of course it's a camera.